Hi, it's around noon on Saturday, August 8th. I'm Kevin Ryan of Top Meadow, and this is day 4. And it's going to be a short day. It's Saturday, and I have some other stuff to do. But I'm going to try and get a little bit done today. So, away we go again. Let's take a little closer look at what's happening on the screen. The sheep flee from the dog. If you notice, I have it set up so they cannot flee all the way to the edge. That makes it possible for my dog to always loop around underneath him. If you look closely at the dog, when I draw a line, you'll see a bug there where the dog will move, but the line's still behind him. And if you watch the end of the line as the dog starts moving, sometimes it will grow at the very end. So I got a few little bugs to fix there. We'll get to that. What I want to do right now is, instead of having the sheep just sitting there, I want them to slowly move around on the screen. So the sheep are always moving at a very slow speed, a slower speed than the flee speed. When you get close, the flee speed's as fast as the dog. So that's what I'm going to work on. So right now what I'm going to do is quickly add the little piece of code that will let the sheep wander around. This is my update sheep routine right here, and it loops through every sheep in the game. And if they're being removed, remove countdown. All it does is keep removing them. Once they're all removed, it removes the sheep from the game. So these are the sheep that are already in the pen. Then, if they're not being removed, it takes a look and sees if they're being moved because the dog's barking, if the dog's close, or if they're wandering. So it checks out how far it is from the dog. And if it's within the flee distance of the dog, or the dog is within the flee distance of when the dog's barking, it will do this moving. Otherwise, what we need to do is, right here is I'll put in the, otherwise this is the wander code, so else. I need to adjust the, oh look, I got moved. Moved equals true. It's always true now for this code. Here, so setting up move true. I'll just set it up so it's clear. X is equal to the time slice distance times my sheep of wander dot mx. I have a time slice. Yes, here we go. Sheep etr. I have pointed to my sheep. Wander, and this is set up. It's just they're going to wander in a straight line until they hit the edge, and then once they hit the edge, they'll change direction. But for right now, I think what I'll do is I'll leave this in here. I won't worry about it. They'll hit the edge and then they'll just get stuck on the edge. Eventually I'll have them bounce off the edge in a random direction. But this right here, let me copy this little piece of code. So quickly copy and paste this in here. So there we go. And I don't need this piece of code. If we're in here, put the comment in. If we haven't moved yet, if we get here, so I don't even need this piece of code anymore. So anyway, this is moved, and then what I'll add in this section just a little bit farther down here, this sees if they've gone off the edge or not, is I'll check, and if they've hit the edge, I'll adjust their random wandering stuff. So let me get this compiled and show it running. Show you how I'm setting up the wander values. They're right here. Wander, the X value I set to random number between -5 and 5. I have to fix that. I don't want that 0. Oh, that's not likely to happen. Y is a random number between -5 and 5. Let me fix this. Code 0. And I notice if both come to be 0, I can't normalize it. So, but I may have to put a check in later. Chance of that happening is close to 0, but it could happen. Normalizes it, turns it into a vector length 1, and then multiplies it by the sheep's normal speed. So now I have a vector pointing in the direction that I want my sheep's going to wander. So that's every second he'll move the distance of that vector. So now I can go back down to my sheep code and fix it, because what was in there before is not quite right. Get it up here. Okay. So what he's going to move in the x time is that wander value times the time delta that's being passed in. And time delta is 1 if a second has passed. It's 0.5 if half a second has passed. So this normalizes the way he moves. This is kind of blocky. I'll clean this code up later, but really quickly add this in. Plus, not minus. Plus, not minus. So there we go. So I'm getting the distance he's moving in the x and y direction is the sheep's wander x times time delta, wander y times time delta. So a constant frame rate, then I'm just setting the sheep's location there. And then the code below, which you saw before, this little block checks to make sure he doesn't go off the edge of the screen, and then I update the sprite's location to make sure. So let me compile that and let you see it running. Okay, I just compiled that piece of code, and let me get up here, get these guys. They're stuck on the edge because I don't have them bouncing off right now, but if you watch the sheep, oh, I knocked him into the goal. Okay, get the sheep down. You can see them moving. As I go past him, he'll move out of the way, but he's still moving. Makes kind of interesting little things there. Go past him, and so you can see the sheep. I'm not sure why the sheep's not going. I'm going to have to track that down. His values weren't being set. Something's wrong with him. Anyway, you can see the sheep. If I come get in front of him here, I'll block his way. I wonder what he'll do. Kind of jittering around me. So play with those values and stuff. The other thing I want sheep to do eventually is push each other out of the way so they'll collide. So as I push this guy, so he goes into this guy right here, he'd end up making him move out of the way. I barked him out of the way there. Okay, so anyway, the little piece of code there is having the sheep, nothing fancy. I haven't, made it do a lot of stuff, but the simple basic routines are in there. That little piece of code has them wandered. Next step, I'll go in and fix that, but not going to do it today. We're going to call it a day because it's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday, may not do one Sunday. Want to make sure I get this uploaded before it gets too late on Saturday. So, see you Monday.